Hi viewers, welcome to NCKHUB. If you like our videos, kindly do subscribe and follow us. Thank you.
Today, we are going to discuss about creating a virtual machine and or deploying a virtual machine into Azure. So let's start creating a virtual machine. Let's get into the resources. So if you can prefer creating a virtual machine, let's first click on this create a resource, or else you can navigate to the menu. From the menu, you can do navigate to the virtual machines. Any one option you can do prefer. So I'm clicking on creating a virtual machine. So now I have created a virtual machine, guys. So this virtual machine will contain multiple tabs initially. One is basics, another one is disks, another one is networking, management, monitoring, advanced tags, and review finally, and create it. So this is about deploying a virtual machine in an Azure. So right side, if you can see, 6269.51 is the monthly amount which is going to charge for my usage of the service on the basis of pay as on go, like an electricity bill. So if we pay our electricity bill, we will use it and we will make the payment. Similarly, in the mode of same payment, it is going to happen like for my subscription account, I am preferring pay as on go service. If you are referring to your account on free tier, or if you are an experienced, then you have to check out your subscription. Your subscription ID will be added with respect to your subscription account details as pay as and go service. Accordingly, you have to create a virtual machine. So kindly please look into the amount of estimated cost if you are a free tier account or if you are preferring an pay as on go service. Next, you have to create a resource group. So this resource group essentially it is very mandatory and it is very much essential service which it is connected with multiple layers after deployment of the service. You will come to know at the end of the session. So I request you to stay tuned why this resource group is going to be helpful and how this is going to be essential for you people. You are going to see once after I do deploy the virtual machine. So let's create a new resource. So here I am going to name it as Azure Series hyphen resource group. So you will be creating, depending upon your requirement, multiple resources. If you want to name it as 1, 2, 3 like that, you can do mention depending upon your project name. Next, after application name like that, you can do name if you have different applications and services. Next, I'm clicking on OK. So this amount is going to vary depending upon the Linux or a Windows server, whichever you are preferring. And again, this mainly depends upon the services you are preferring, like Ubuntu image with latest and old. Windows similarly 2012, 16, 19, depending upon the year and version, it is going to vary. So now let me click on virtual machine by adding a name. So now I am going to pick Azure series hyphen VM01. I am naming it as. So after this one, I am going to add a test server. So this is the region. We will be having multiple regions or the data centers. You can see here US East, similarly Asia, Europe, and similarly Central India. Like this, you can see France, Germany, Norway, Brazil, like this, multiple services will be there. Depending upon your requirement, you have to select it. So if I change the region, example, if I prefer any Central India, or if you have a requirement with Israel, you can do select that one as well. If you have a requirement, Switzerland, you can do select that one as well. I'm preferring as of now Central India. So you can observe the amount is going to vary 6816. If I now change the amount, example to Europe region. So I'm not going to change the amount. So it is going to be reflect altogether by the Microsoft. I'm changing now to West Europe. You can see the amount is going to change automatically with a dynamic price change. So essentially previously we have seen US only. That is very less. So comparatively, rather than preferring Central India and also other services of Europe. So let's go back to the initial what we have selected. So if you can see, this is wow, this is very less comparatively with others. So which is very good for me in terms of charging. So let's step into the another step, guys. This is the availability zone, which you can see zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. In which data center if you want to pick, as in our home, like we have different rooms in our data centers as well, we have different zones. So accordingly we can do pick up our availability zone. If you want to set it to the Azure, they can do set it as well directly. So prefer, you can do prefer your selected zone. So if you change the zone to, and if you want to add multiple zones, the amount, wow, it is going to be very, guys. So be cautious if your project is demanding you multiple zones to have a backup and like that, then it is required to have multiple zones. If you're doing for practice purpose, then I recommend go with a single zone, which will ultimately reduce your cost. But kindly, please do remember, if you're working for any banking, insurance, or else any telecom applications, if your client is expecting a backup server, then I request you need to have a zone with the disaster recovery. You need to have in different zone as well. Hence the reason something bomb out or something may happen, you need to have a backup as well in the other regions. So in that case, you need to enable a different zone as well. Now, so you will be having a security. The security plays a very, very crucial role, guys. You need to have you need to be very cautious while working for clients like banking, insurance, or other people. Trusted or confidential, you have to mandatory. You have to. Currently, I am selecting standard as per my. Yes, this we are creating for our Azure series for beginners, day 0 to hero. So this is sufficient. And for experienced, I prefer selecting rather than standard. You can do select trusted launch version. Next, currently it is their Ubuntu server. If I change now to another version of Ubuntu, the price is going to ultimately it is going to change. You can observe. Now I am going to change this to Windows. So if you see 2019, if I do select from 6,000, wow, oh my God, it is very to 13,000. Now I am going to change it to 2016 server, guys. It will reduce the amount. Hopefully, I am expecting. So depending upon the image which was selected here, if you can see, it is 11,000, which is there with 2 cores of CPU, 8 GB memory. They are standing standard 2 disks of space with this much money, guys. So if I can change another, the amount probably it should reduce for me. So now it is there 2016 and it is their standard, and my images whichever I can do select with virtual machine architecture 64-bit. If I can select this one, the amount ultimately it is going to reduce. Wow, it is now 8866. Now I am going to see all sizes, which I am checking out rather than what they had recommended. I am going to select this one. As of now, one CPU, 1 GB RAM, and data disk, two data disks. So I am going to select this one and click on select OK. Ultimately, my amount has finally reduced, guys. Oh, which I can feel very happy now. This is for practice purpose only. Next, we have to give username rather than regular username like administrator, user one, user two. Don't provide like this. Create a different usernames, okay, which will be unique and specially preferred by your client, how the way they are expecting. So likewise, you can do provide usernames. Now I am going to give AS test v user. AS test v user. Now this AS test v user, I am going to save it to my notepad, guys. So let me open my notepad. So the existing one, which is whichever it is there, I'm going to delete it. I'm going to take my new notepad. I'm saving my username. Now similarly, I will do generate a new password. That password should have 12 to 123 characters. Remember. Now I am going to generate a random password generator. Random password generator online. So using this random password generator, I'm going to create a new password, whichever it is there with a strong with at least 12 characters. Okay, now it is there. Yeah. So here we go. I am going to copy it. I am going to check out is this be expected or not. So it is working fine. Now I am confirming the password and I am saving my password. So we can do save in secretly inside the Azure account that we will do discuss in the coming classes. Now I am public inbound ports. As I am going to create this for public server as of now. 3389 port by allow selected ports. So if you select none, none is going to be work out. So allow selected ports. Then give select random port. If you want to allow HTTP, enable HTTP. If you want to SSH, enable. So now I am going to allow 3389 all these ports. Next, if we need any licensing, then move it to the licensing by enabling. Next, click on disks. This is our next part. Disk. If you want an extra space of 127 GB of SSD, HDD, all these you can do select. As example, here it is premium SSD, it is standard SSD, standard HDD. If you can do select this one, the amount ultimately it is going to vary. So if you want 127 GB or 128 GB or 512 GB, depending upon your requirement, the amount is going to vary. So key managed service. So if you are referring, delete the VM once all the services are deleted, you can do enable this one, and you have to select the key management. So this key management plays one of the crucial role. If you want to have a separate managed key independently, you can do select it. If you want to manage by the Azure custom managed, you can do select this one. As of now, for my machine, which I have selected at 1,300 rupees per month, it is going to platform managed key. So next, click on networking. If you want additional disks, you can do add it, no problem in the previous step. So now virtual machine, if you can see virtual network, we will be having a network, okay, like with multiple CIDR ranges /16/24 like the multiple. So under this one, we are having AES01 automatically network has been default brought out. Next, I'm going to select this subnet, okay, which is default. It is displaying me. So now if I want to change this one, I have to go back to the default listed, and if I want to create a new one, I can do create a new one. This in the upcoming class sessions we will do check out how to create a network, how to assign a network to a subnet, and how to assign map routing. All these we are going to see in the upcoming classes. So initially in this 2 days session, we are going to create a virtual network, how a virtual machine can be logged in, how to deploy a virtual machine. This is our agenda. This agenda we are going to fulfill completely. And I'm going to click on the public IP, which is whichever it is going to generate. Now, if I want to change anything, you can do by creating a virtual networking. Next, if you want to select public inbound roles, allow all, select inbound roles, allow all. This will allow all IP addresses which now connect to your server. So next, if you want to delete your public IP address when virtual machine is deleted, you can do select this option. Automatically, all will get deleted. Okay, so this is about the networking part. Next, we will do check out management. So management involves identity. So if we have any basic free plan, kindly please enable this one. This will apply no subscription for that one. So if you want to have any enter ID, which is a super secured, then you have to add those enter ID and you have to buy it. Remember that is pricing, not for free. And if you want to have any auto shutdown process, then enable this one. At what time you are going to use, at what time it is not required, enable auto shutdown for this one. If you are not willing to use after 5 p.m. of working hours, then you can do shut it down by enabling it. If you want to have a backup, you can enable this. If you want to have guest OS, then kindly a request, you can do enable this one. Next, if we prefer monitoring, if you require alert rules, you need to configure those alert rules, where it needs to be configured, which email it should go. So it will trigger an alert for your server if it is turned on, turned off, deleted, or if the server is made any changes, guys, automatically your alert rules will display you to the particular configuration. So if I enable this one, if I want to configure, next click on this configure rule to which email it should go. It is slowly loading now. As of now, it will display to which email ID it should be directed, or it should alert should trigger, like that it will do display. So let's wait a moment. Even if you are not preferring to trigger this alert, you are not no more required. But all this is part of your virtual machine. If you want, it won't be charging as of now anything to you. So if you want prefer, you can do enable. If not, no problem. Similarly, you can do enable application health monitoring as well. If you want to monitor your application health, then you can do check out this one, like healthy or unhealthy, server failed, server not able to load, like that you can do enable this one. As of now, I am not going to enable. I think this is loading very slow. So if you want, you can do check it out. As of now, I am moving into advanced. So next, inside the advanced, if you inside your server, if you want to install a specific applications, select any extension to install. Like if you want .NET agent, you can do install. If you want agent monitoring, you can do install .NET Windows Server like this. Anything external, if you are looking, you can do install it. So likewise, if you want to install anything external services, you can do select it and prefer, and you can move it to the server directly. Automatically, it will do install for you. Currently, I'm clicking on close. I don't want anything to install. Similarly, applications also. If you want a Java application or .NET applications, if your application needs to install certain with your OS, you can do install by searching for the application. If you want to write a custom data like user data or shell script inside your server, you can do prefer by selecting enable user data, something like shebang you can do write, and you can do create shell script like that, exclamation like that. You can do create something user data, you can do create it. Next, finally, you will come to the tags. Under the tags, you can do name your server, whatever you are adding the name. You can do prefer test server. Next, you can do review and create. Finally, it is going to come to the any errors are there while creating the server, it is going to populate for you red color. So if you can see here, monitoring, it is there. I have selected electrons, but it is not configured. Hence the reason it is displaying. So as I said previously, it is going to trigger an email alert to you if you want to send that notification. If your CPU is greater than 80%, if it is reaching higher, then automatically it will trigger an alert. Similarly, disk space, IOS, and similarly metrics. For metrics are less than 1, it is going to send a trigger alert to you. So these alerts will be helpful for you when you are turning off, turning down, all these. So ultimately, these triggering of alert, as of now, previously I said, it is going to be part of your server, but it will be with notification service with an estimated amount of 58 rupees. As of now, you can see this is minimum amount. If you don't want, you can do disable it. And if you want it, you can do enable it, and it will do trigger a email alert to you. So now I am going to cancel it. Now I am going to review and create it. So the estimated cost per hour will be, it is going to be 1 rupee 16 INR, which is very less. Now you can see if you run this machine for 1 hour, your pricing is going to be this much per hour. Hourly basis, pay as on go service as we discussed initially. Okay. So this is about a virtual machine steps from basics, disks, networking, management, monitoring, ta- tags, and review and create. So now I am going to review this one. So if you can see basics, pay as on go service, East US I have selected, standard security type, and I am allowing HTTP, HTTPS, RDP, all these ports, and I have selected default image OS disk, HDD, hard disk drive I have selected, and networking part I have selected this one, guys, by naming it as similarly management, monitoring, all this. Now I am going to click on create, guys. So let's wait for the deployment. So this is going to give a handshake for you. So you will be very happy, I think. I'm hoping that you will be very happy to see the deployment of how to create a virtual machine manually using Azure service. So there will be different types where using ARM template we can do create using PowerShell script, and also we can do create the same virtual machine by configuring you and provisioning using with the Terraform as well. That we will do call as infrastructure as a configuration, IAC. So as of now, deployment is in progress, guys. You can see, wow, finally it is going to come into the last step where you can see deployment is at to start now. The resources which we have discussed, it is going to launch one by one, one by one. Networking, security, see, networking, security, IP address, public IP address, all this it is going to load one by one. So now if you can see, zone 1 created, and IP address, okay, virtual networking, okay, security groups, okay. So if you want to see the operational details, what it is happening, you can click on operational details and you can see. So provisioning rate, it is succeeded, duration, subscriptions added, like this you can do see. So one by one, it is going to load, guys. Finally, the deployment is going to showcase to you very soon. So let's check it out. So let me navigate to the virtual machine. Okay. So this is the virtual machine which is going to load for you. So as of now, this is the overview of the virtual machine. So let it start first. So give us some time. I am going back to the resource group. So let me open this for you. So this is the resource group, which you can see. So this is the activity log, which I have created. So the activity log, which you can see is validate deployment is going on 3 minutes ago, updating the resource group. So as of now, still it's working and it is talking about this email initiation. So like this, you can do check, guys. So now I am going back. Now I am going back to check the activity log. So if you can see server, virtual machine, public IP address, network security, virtual network is all these are loading as of now. Just wait for a while till it load all the activities. Now, finally, you can see, guys, your deployment is complete. And you can see the deployment details as well. All these are operational details. So your server is network with all the details are created. Next steps, if you want to set up auto shutdown, you can do setup networking monitoring. You can do setup. If you want to run a script inside a virtual machine, you can do select. If you want to create another virtual machine, you can do select this one. If you want to go to the resource, click on go to resource, guys. And finally, you are there in the server. So now this is the server details which you can see. So let's quickly jump into the IP address. So let's wait for a while. It is in now running state. So if you want to check out anything from the home, you can do come to the virtual machines. So you can see this is the virtual machine, which is now, if you want to check, it is in start mode. Okay, it is already in running mode. If you want to stop it, you can do stop it. So let's navigate to the IP address, which is the public IP address, which is yet to load, guys. So let's click on it. Come to the virtual machine. I'm clicking on connect as of now just to see the connections which are related to the servers. It is loading a bit slow. So let's wait for a while. Of, guys, it's taking very much long time. So let me navigate to the virtual machines. So I am starting the virtual machine. So already you can see these are the details. So now I will be refreshing the page as of now. Now I am going to click on the server. It is now in running mode. I'm going to the public IP address of the machine. You can see this is the public IP. Now I'm going to test the machine, which it is logging as of now. I'm opening the RDP. So I'm going to copy paste and I'm going to add the username. Username I have noted down. AS test virtual user, which I had given. Now I am going to test the connectivity. So if you can see, the server is now validating its credentials. Now I'm going to connect to my server and check is my server is up and running or not. Oh wow, successfully it is allowing me, guys, to check. So applause, applause. So our server is ready to connect now. So now you can see we have connected to a virtual machine of RDP server. So like this, if you want to connect to SSH 22, and similarly, if you want to connect to any Linux or other servers, Debian, Ubuntu, any flavor of Linux, if you want to connect, you can do connect to the server like this, guys, and you can do manage your operations inside the server. So let's check it out. Initially, first the configuration of the server, which we have selected. It is loading a bit slow, guys. So now you can see it has been loaded with the Windows completely. So now we can do validate our server with respect to the configuration, which we have seen by going into the drive. So you can see this is the server which we have created. And if I can do right click and check out the properties, guys. So this is the 1 GB server which we have selected and opted for 64-bit 2016 server. I hope you have seen all the details, and the computer name which we have placed is ASVM1 test-SC. So now if we can go to our actual test server, this is the ASVM test server. And if we can go to our home and resources, all we can do see about our resources. So sorry, I have clicked on create a resource. Let me go back and find a resource. So if you can see, these are the resource groups which I have created. So under this resource group, if you can see all my resources which I have created, all are going to load. So this is the test server which I have taken. So the same test server, if you can see, this is the naming. If you want to change the settings like that, anything operation, if you want to perform, you can do change and work as per your requirement, guys. So this is the name of the computer as of now, test server. This is the 2016 and 1 GB RAM, which we have selected, guys. So in this, if you want any IS web server, you can do deploy .NET and start performing your actual requirement, why you have created and what you want to perform. So that's it for today's session, guys. I hope it had given you a very basic overview and helpful session for you how to deploy a virtual machine in Azure account. So that's it for today's, guys. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up and keep on encouraging us like this. Please subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much, guys.